Welcome back to The Takeout. To the surprise of absolutely no Minnesota Democrat, Minnesota Democratic Senator Amy Klobuchar has filed paperwork to run for governor. Source tells CBS News this is a preliminary step as she considers, forgets it, she's going to do it. She's going to run for governor after Tim Walz, the incumbent governor, having launched a bid for a third term, backed out earlier this month. I want to bring in our political panel. Rina, Shah, Republican strategist, former senior congressional aide. Hyma, Democratic strategist, former director for the DNC chair's office under Jamie Harrison. Let me start with you. It's obvious what Amy Klobuchar is going to do. She's a formidable senator. She was a presidential candidate. She's now going to run for governor. As I'm told, no Democrat in Minnesota is going to challenge her for the nomination. Yeah. It's hers for the taking.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think you're right. I think we all know she's going to do it, but I think she's been very smart about it. There's a lot happening in Minnesota right now, as we all know. We'll talk about it today.
Boy, is there ever.
I mean, but look, I think right now in a moment of such tumult and having a governor having to step out after seeking a third term, having Amy Klobuchar come up to take the mantle is really good for Democrats, I think, and really good for Minnesota.
Mm-hmm. Will she be vulnerable to the Walz record in general and the Walz record specifically on fraud within Minnesota?
No, I don't think so. I think we all know Amy Klobuchar, and what she's really good at is driving her own message, and she's really good at self-promotion, and she is. And so I think Amy Klobuchar, when she introduces herself as a candidate for governor, she's going to set the record straight, and she's going to let us know what she wants to talk about, and she's going to change the page.
Rina, Republicans are going to tee off on that, the Walz record, and tie it directly to Amy Klobuchar.
Well, I mean, Minnesota right now is ground zero for Trump's immigration enforcement efforts, right? Yeah. So there's a lot that she can chew on here, and I think it's Democrats in Minnesota who are breathing a sigh of relief because Walz's implosion has been almost legendary. Yeah. I think it's a really bad exit on his part, like an end to a career that could have been so much better. But I think, let's be real here. Is this really about serving Minnesotans, or is this more about a graceful exit from a Senate where nothing seems to get done? And so that's the question I have for Amy. I mean, I remember the Amy Klobuchar who ran for president, and then there were these hideous stories of sort of how she's terrible to work for, supposedly, or eats salad with, I don't know, a comb, I heard.
I don't know
These are the funny stories for fodder, but I do think she is a serious person. And we will find out how serious she is if she's able to stand up to the D.C. overreach without folding to the progressive wing that has really tanked Walz.
If I had to choose two words for Amy Klobuchar, she's smart and she's tough.
So let's talk about Minneapolis because the vice president was there, and clearly there's an effort. The president started it on Tuesday when he talked about his 1 year, said it was terrible what happened to Renee Good, tragedy. Vance said we need more cooperation. There's too much chaos. We need to bring things down. Rina, it sounds like this administration is first trying to change the rhetoric and then maybe try to change some of the optics and maybe calm down the situation in Minneapolis, make it less aggressive.
Well, this is where the Klobuchar story actually continues, funnily enough, because what you're seeing with Klobuchar now standing up and filing these papers, she's not getting a coronation. She's about to have a real test. And what the Trump administration from here is kind of eyeing, and I remember this because I've spent a lot of time in Minnesota for politics, I remember purple Minnesota, and now it's squarely blue. And so the Trump administration thinks this could be something, a trend that continues, because even blue Minnesota is now fed up with excuses and scandals.
Republican candidates vying for governor or Senate, they cannot have ICE right next to them in the visuals in campaign ads.
Yeah, but don't forget what this administration does best, what this president does best, and why his people always fall in line, is he captures the essence of the moment. And he's saying even blue Minnesota folks are sad and upset and just had enough with these excuses and scandals. I mean, this Somali fraud that we do not have enough time to get into, has really opened up a can of worms, and they're going for the messaging. But you and I know that. Yeah. Republicans will go, and they go low. Yeah,
they will. But look, I think it's even beyond what's happening right now. Minnesota's been through quite a lot. I mean, all the way from COVID. They've never really started to recover from COVID. They've had this assassination of the leader. They've had the mass shooting at the school. They have this fraud now. Now the governor's stepping aside. And so I think this state is unlike most states right now where they are just sick and tired. And someone like Amy Klobuchar stepping up to the plate, she's serious, and she's someone who understands that she gets it.
Well, she's for stability.
She's safe for stability. Yeah, I think that's where they are right now. They need stability.
Rina, I'm going to give you the last word on this. On his way back from Davos, President Trump on social media denounced every poll, and there are so many polls, showing him in the low 40s to mid 30s. The polls are real. You got to believe bad news when you see it. Any politician does.
For sure. Well, this is my take on Trump in general, in the moments in which he's been abroad and he comes back home, or he's making big efforts like he did all about Greenland right before he got to Davos, right? When things are going bad at home, he wants to get everybody to fixate on abroad. And that's just who he is. We'll
Rina,
see it
Shah,
continue.
Hyma, more.
Absolutely.
Always a pleasure. Thank you. Remember, the candy doesn't eat itself.